Hey everyone and welcome back to the sports section, a late night video. Well, it's late at night when I'm filming the video. I don't know when you're going to watch this video, but as promised, let's talk about Julian Alvarez, let's talk about Benjamin Sesko and also Nicolas Jackson. We already did a couple of videos with regards to our strikers, transfers, some small comparisons. If you made those videos, those will be in the top right corner, but in this one, let's compare each and every striker, the pros and the cons. Now, for those that are saying that Julian Alvarez is not for sale, he's not officially for sale, but you don't have to be for sale in order for a club to bid on a certain player. Apparently, the, let's say, minimum amount that they will consider is around 70 million euros or 70 million pounds, can't remember, so slightly above Benjamin Sesko. Let's see what happens. Fabrizio said that PSG are in talks with his agents, and that's about it. In England, no concrete talks right now. Might happen in the coming weeks, who knows. Anyways, let's compare these players, but first, some weird rumor is circulating right now. There are interest and inquiries from other clubs for Nkunku, but he wants to stay in London and establish himself after a difficult first season. Nkunku wants to be a key player at Chelsea. Yeah, I don't know, maybe you've heard this, but I think this is a nothing burger. I think there is a 0.0001% chance that Nkunku leaves Chelsea this summer. And so, as we've talked about yesterday, the rumors circulating around Julian Alvarez. There were rumors coming out that Julian Alvarez will leave Manchester City this summer. Why is that? Because he wants more game time. And of course, when your number one striker is called Erling Haaland, obviously you're not going to be the one starting. He can start with Haaland, of course, playing behind him or on the sides, which is also something that we have to talk about right now. These sources that are popping up on the screen, to be honest, I don't know, might be another Gerard Moreno, like somebody said in the comments. Yesterday, Fabrizio did say that several clubs have approached Julian Alvarez, not only Atletico, but also PSG. Apparently, Atletico want him on loan, but he said there's no chance that he leaves on loan. It's either he stays, which I think is the preferred option for Manchester City, or he gets sold, but for big money. I also want the record to note that we have two Enzos at Chelsea. Enzo Maresca, the coach, which worked previously at Manchester City, and secundo, we have Enzo Fernandez, a very good friend of Julian Alvarez. They know each other, of course, from their time at River Plate and, of course, in the Argentinian team, where they won the World Cup together. Now, with regards to Benjamin Sesko, still no major news surrounding him. He will probably make his decision before the Euro 2024. It is a straight fight between Arsenal and Enzo Maresca's Chelsea for Benjamin Sesko, according to Graham Bailey, if I'm pronouncing the name right. So we'll see what happens. I will be happy either way. But now let's start comparing. Let's start and look at the statistics here. By the way, if you want to support this channel, hit all the buttons, subscribe, like, notification bell, write some comments. Increase engagement would really help me out. Anyways, Julian Alvarez, 24 years old, height 170 centimeters. How much is it in inches and feet? I don't know, 5'7", 5'6", something like that, I think. Anyways, that's one of the weaknesses, right? 170 centimeters. You can clearly see this in the performance spider chart. Assisting, no problem. Shooting, no problem. Ball carries, no problem either. Passes, in this case, by the way, this is not this season, this is the previous season. We're comparing the two seasons. But weakness here, aerials. 31 appearances, 9 goals. If we look at the heat map, like I said, he's not starting as a number 9. He's starting a lot in that number 10 position. He's going wide a lot of times as well. So that might impact the statistics here. If we now look at the most recent season, you can already see, right, a clear improvement overall. Carries became a little bit better, passes better as well. Heat map, way more present in the attacking areas, but again, more of a number 10 / right winger, right midfielder, left midfielder type of player, and less having that huge presence here in the box. Of course, that's what happens when you play at Manchester City and when Manchester City has a number 9 called Erling Haaland. And so, for the most recent season, 11 goals, 9 assists. And overall, this is not just for Manchester City, but this is also for Argentina. You can see played 18 games as an AMC, attacking midfield center, 13 games as a forward. Now, as an AMC, he scored 6 goals and assisted 6. As a forward, less assists, a little bit more goals, 7 goals, 1 assist. As a substitute, 4 goals, 2 assists. So it doesn't really matter where he plays. In his most favorite position, he will score a little bit more goals, assist a bit less. But even if you play with 2 strikers, for example, if he plays like a support for a striker, which he did for Erling Haaland, he can still score and assist goals. Now, of course, I know some will say we don't need that right now. We have Nkunku, who can play that role for Nicolas Jackson, which, yes, I can agree. But on the flip side, how many times did you scream at your screen? Did you scream at your screen whenever Nicolas Jackson should have either passed the ball for an easy tap-in or should have scored a goal for an easy goal? How many times this season? Probably more times than not. Still, he had a decent season. But the difference between being Nicolas Jackson and being as clinical as Julian Alvarez can be a deciding factor in winning or losing a game, winning or losing a title. Moving on to player number 2, Benjamin Sesko, a giant, 195 centimeters. No clue, 6.6, 11, 6'10, 6'7, I don't know. Anyways, 195 centimeters, 31 appearances, 14 goals, 2 assists. And here, you can clearly see the difference, right? Aerial, he's a beast. He's a beast in the air. You've probably seen the video where he jumps and it seems like it's edited, but it's not. Carries, pretty good. Shooting, very good as well. Assisting a bit less than Julian Alvarez, but then again, you're talking here about a pure number 9, although he did play a lot with Lois Openda, so a partner striker. You can also see that here on the heat map. A bit all over the place, but they are playing a different system. They are playing with 2 strikers sometimes, and sometimes he did came on as a substitution. Now, with regards to Sesko, in the last 8 games, he scored in each and every game. And here, unlike Julian Alvarez, he only plays in one position, and that's a forward center. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple, which is of course what a lot of us wanted, right? A pure number 9 to come in, to have a presence in the box, some height as well. So if there are those Reece James crosses or Cucurella crosses or Cole Palmer crosses, someone in that box will attack the ball with the head, or at least maybe have the rebound, something like that. Then I can understand you want something like Benjamin Sesko. Julian Alvarez, Benjamin Sesko, apologies. Pardona. Anyways, I can understand the statement made by this side of the people. Okay, makes total sense. Then you have to talk about the Maresca system. We've talked about the Maresca system. Some people are saying Conor Gallagher will not be able to play in the Maresca system, possession, ball playing system, etc., etc. It's not for Conor Gallagher. Same thing could be said here for Benjamin Sesko. When you play possession game football, pretty similar to City, Julian Alvarez plays in the Premier League, plays for Manchester City, plays in that system, knows Enzo Maresca, would be much easier to integrate into our team than someone like Benjamin Sesko, who's used to be purely a striker, gets the ball on the top or quick pass in the box, moves his body around, body, big presence, shoots, it's a goal. But I'll make the point for both cases. Yes, it's true, Julian Alvarez will probably have an easier time to adapt to the Premier League and our system, or the system that he's used to, than Benjamin Sesko. But then again, why are we thinking about Benjamin Sesko like an amateur? Plays in the Bundesliga, a pretty good league, high level. So saying that he will need a season to develop, season to get used to the league, that's not how it works. That's not how, in my opinion, it's just a lazy excuse. Plenty of strikers, plenty of other players have joined teams in the Premier League, did not need time to adapt. Some players do need, but at the end of the day, a striker needs to get the ball and put the ball in the net. That's all. Which moves me to the next person, which sometimes has struggled to put the ball in the net, but even with that, 35 appearances, 14 goals, 5 assists, first season in the Premier League. Not too bad. Of course, 3 of those goals, that hat-trick against Spurs, happened against a team that were playing with 9, so yeah, you have to take that into consideration. But okay, we don't really care. Height 186 centimeters, and here you're actually seeing a more complete forward, right? Assisting, shooting, carries, aerials, passes, all either better than normal or average. The only problem, let's say problem-ish, is recoveries. But other than that, this performance spider chart is probably one of the better ones compared to the other two. Here on the heat map, of course, with Nicolas Jackson, we sometimes played with him out wide. He was also coming in a lot to help with the transition a little bit, like we've talked with Maresca system in previous videos. If let's say we're with 4 players right here in the middle of their half, the number 9 drops in a little bit, helps them out, and then we go back to the attack. And of course, he's got his presence here in the box, but he did miss one too many chances. Also, by the way, if we look at non-penalties expected goals, he's just behind Haaland and Watkins for last season. Anyways, if we look at this graph right here, we compare Julian Alvarez, Sesko, and Nicolas Jackson. It's again pretty clear where the options are, what type of player we're getting, what type of profile we're getting. The blue one is Julian Alvarez, as we've seen before. The red one is Sesko. And then again, the most neutral one, or the one that is overall, let's say, average or a bit better than average, is Nicolas Jackson, percentile-wise, of course. So yes, you might say that we already have the solution, but I think adding Julian Alvarez or Sesko is definitely adding something more to that team. And before ending, for all the people that make their claim purely because Julian Alvarez is small, do you forget about Sergio Kun Aguero? Did you forget what type of devil this guy was in the Premier League? And here as well, you can see assisting, shooting, carries, the best for him, and then weaknesses, passes, recoveries, and of course, aerials. But the guy was a devil. The guy was extremely good in the Premier League, extremely good at scoring goals. He wasn't that big, he wasn't that strong, and yet he was one of the best strikers in the league for many, many seasons in a row. And yes, of course, he happens to be Argentinian. All of that to say that both Sesko and Julian Alvarez bring different type of qualities to that team. Benjamin Sesko, again with the Benjamin Sesko, is also a bit younger, a bit less experienced than Alvarez, but that's fine. That's fine. He knows how to score goals, different profile, and again, it's all about what the coach wants and what the club wants, how much we want to pay, what type of profile we want to bring in. I wouldn't say no to Julian Alvarez or Benjamin Sesko. Whichever one we get, I think we're getting an extremely good player in the club, one that will add on top of Nkunku and Nicolas Jackson. That's about it. That's my conclusion. Of course, do share yours down in the comment section below. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.